Hello. Welcome back to VFX and Chill. I'm Seth Worley, and over here to my left or right is...
It's me, Hashi. Welcome, everybody.
Sorry for the wooden intro. I'm just getting used to this incredible AI technology that makes you always look straight forward. Michael, I see you got the AI as well. What's your name, Michael? I forgot to introduce you.
My name's Michael, but I don't have the AI. I just have II. That's all I got.
Okay, that's enough of Michael then. Like now let's okay, Hashi, what are we talking about this week? I'm going to go back to my actual host because I actually didn't I have a Mac, so I can't install the NVIDIA thing. You actually are using the software, like you are currently.
Well, let's talk about using a software right now. Can't you see how naturally I've engaged with everybody here?
It makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I'm going to be totally honest. In fact,
so
also
wait,
proximity to my face.
Are you actually using it?
I am actually using it, and if you would like to see,
blink really slow.
Okay, watch this.
If you need help.
Okay, here's how I'll demonstrate it. Ready? And this is where I'm looking. I'm looking over at my screen to check out how this looks on the monitor.
Oh.
Oh, wait, let me turn it back on. What's kind of cool is that it has a tolerance, and so it knows if I'm definitely looking over here with my head and eyes, it'll transition to those. And as I look generally back in the direction of the camera, it'll animate to catch up with the camera, even though I'm still not looking there. I'm still looking over here.
It's so good.
So, yeah. So this is as you can see, this is an eye line correcting filter for that NVIDIA just added to NVIDIA Broadcast. It's enabled in the beta mode, which is kind of cool. And it is clearly designed for a specific purpose, which is things like this, like live streams where I might be checking out my monitor over here, but you would want me to engage over here.
But Hashi,
or I might be reading a teleprompter and want to be able to look, right into your soul.
But Hashi, what is it not used for?
One thing that it is not used for, Seth, and I'm glad you asked, is it's not designed to be used on existing videos of performers performing art in the form of acting.
So show me some of that. I'm on your screen. What are you talking about?
So for example, like say I was curious to just see how well the technology worked in a couple of different situations. I decided that I would possibly check out the word monologue on YouTube because I thought that would give me some good clips of people like giving away their like evil plan via a speech or something like that. And maybe I could test the eye contact thing on it because they're usually like holding on a villain as they describe their evil plan. And when I type in monologue, I was reminded of the amazing, incredible Jeremy Allen White performance from The Bear, which no spoilers aside from the clip that has been seen by a couple of people.
Spoiler alert, it's perfect. It's a perfect television show.
It's remarkable. So if you're, let's see, I go on my screen now. I can't. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm just making it so I can see what we're working on. Oh, gosh, it is so weird. I'm looking up at my monitor, but I'm looking down the barrel of the lens on my thing. It's so bizarre. Anyway, I just simply meant to comment that the NVIDIA AI real-time eye contact is pretty incredible. During this performance, Mr. White is doing an amazing, very long performance. It's 7 minutes, I believe, of this monologue, just sort of recounting a lot of things that he's been unable to voice until this moment. But in real time, this NVIDIA process can correct the eye line to point it straight at the barrel of the camera. And because I thought it was a very clear demonstration of the software, I decided to post it, thinking some people would be like, "Huh, that's funny," or "How weird." But if you want to take a look,
people thought things.
We got a little ratioed here with. So in the quote tweets, we've got some things like, "Can't wait for all TV to be like this," or like. I had my reservations about this, and now I hate it even more. I'm so glad that things are, stop nuke AI research labs, stop, you are destroying humanity. Seeing one of the best acted monologues of the year getting ruined by what if he was staring at the camera instead of lost in memory is so cool. And and it, as you can see,
you had like reporters like retweeting you and basically, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Holding you in contempt, or
I think that there might have been, in case you're tuning into our show as one of the people who found out that that VFX and Chill does bizarre stuff. I don't think this is better. I think it's a really cool tech demo.
The only thing we do that is better than the original is But with Raptors. That's it.
Correct.
That's the only way that we improve anything. This show is not about improving visual effect shots or improving performances, with the exception of But with Raptors.
With the exception of But with Raptors, which is right here.
At But with Raptors at Twitter. Please go follow. If you're still on Twitter, if you're not still on Twitter, then we're doomed.
Raptors are hanging in there. They're not extinct yet. They can survive for a long time in the wild. So that's what I've been up to this week, Seth, is experimenting with eye contact, because it turns out if you can feed your YouTube stream to something like split cam and then feed it into your computer, into NVIDIA, then you can get amazing results like Jeff Goldblum.
So good. Preoccupied with whether or not
staring right at you. Or
Quint was my favorite one. That one's funny.
Yeah, this one is interesting because I did literally run this through twice. Because it actually did attempt to put the eyes in slightly wall-eyed, which I think is probably considerate of NVIDIA because people's
oh yeah,
interocular distance and vector are like very widely, and like Steve Buscemi's got a specific kind, and
that's my favorite.
Yeah,
Quint is my favorite. Those
this is a pretty great
lifeless eyes.
Yeah, this is a wonderful Robert Shaw speech from the movie Jaws, possibly the best part of the entire movie. Just you're
ruined.
Ruined.
By the way, it's a real fun thing to go through that scene and try and figure out which shots he's drunk and which shots were the next day where he sobered up and reshot the monologue.
Was he sober in some of them?
Some of them he's sober. They couldn't finish the scene the first time they shot it because he drank at lunch pretty heavily and couldn't get through it. But there are takes in there that he's definitely drunk, and you can tell.
That's wild. You can tell by the sheen on the forehead, perhaps. So yeah, this was another one that a lot of people enjoyed.
Didn't you get commented at by a yellow check mark?
Oh, I did for this one. We have a nice comment from our friends over at Jurassic World. Your editor was so preoccupied whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should, which is delightful. And now this video came across much more. Whoops. I skipped to the end. I meant to just let it play in the background here, but this maybe captures my intent a little bit better.
Alan Grant's are the funniest to me.
It turns this into like a Netflix documentary about
that one.
Like that crazy park you remember from the summer of 2004 that Netflix, oh my gosh, it was wild. Here are the people who were there recounting the events.
It totally does. That right there, that's the funniest one to me because it's the slow dolly in while he is like digging into that monologue and looking right at us. It is
and
so
to see
good.
the side-by-side on this one especially, I mean, like Sam Neill is he searches for information through through his conscience for that speech, and it's really bizarre to have any of these. Oh, this is one of my other favorites. It turns Jeff Goldblum's moment into a little vlog here.
This one is so good that he's able to like go back and forth and focus, and he's just like, it's like an Office like moment.
And that's one of the things I want to point out about this technology is like it has this subtle little animation where it'll like turn the eye direction like after it blinks or something like that. And it actually does maintain something relatively natural.
It just becomes like a Michael Scott moment, what was otherwise a pure Goldblum.
Mm-hmm. And like the fidelity of these eyes is pretty incredible.
Oh my gosh, that's so
to
funny.
be able to see something like that. I mean, if you're ever being stared at by Sam Neill like this,
Thank God. Just take it in and feel the gratitude.
I want to see what it does with like non-realistic eyes, like the Witcher's eyes, or Mystique, or something like that. Like a non-human, like a not. I don't want to go like a dog and see if you can put a dog's eyes looking at you, but like just
a
vaguely
Navi.
non-exactly human.
Like a Navi or somebody. Yeah, let's also grab like The Rock from the Scorpion King.
Oh yeah.
In the Polar
Okay,
Ryan
Express.
Summers says
kids.
that that Jurassic Park edit made it feel like a Dino Blood Viagra replacement ad.
Okay.
You know?
Hey Summers,
Yeah.
what's up, pal?
And Frigby Chillweather says this is but with actors.
What with actors? What should we call
Tashi, turn that thing off. It's making me so uncomfortable.
what? What's wrong, Seth?
Please. Nothing's
Wait,
weird.
I'll take off my glasses here. Wait.
I'm using it for tutorials from now on because I can
I'm gonna
just
take off my
read my
glasses.
script. I can just read my
I'm gonna
script
take off
and be
my
looking straight in
glasses.
the camera. Oh, it gets weird. Oh, it gets weird when you do that. It does not like that.
Doesn't like that.
Oh,
And
not
so-
even a little.
This is why you should not strum your eyes throughout a live broadcast.
That's not okay.
Anyway, you're welcome to leave if that's all you came here to see.
You're welcome to leave.
Well, yeah. If you just came here,
Welcome to
for the
VFX and Chill.
addressing-
You're welcome to leave.
If you're just here for the controversy, get out. Controversy
stay.
over.
We love controversy.
I'm disabling the filter, so I'm back to looking over at my.
But are we going to run some Navi through that
monitor.
thing for Michael, or are we moving on?
Let's see. Wait. Give me some specific examples again. You suggested
Polar
Witcher.
Express, Navi,
Okay.
Scorpion King,
The Witcher or Mystique.
The Witcher or Mystique, which is the name of
What is
Michael's fanfic novel.
Is it like the character of The Witcher has weird eyes?
Yeah, he's got like.
Or Doctor
Weird
Strange
eyes.
third eye tracking. That was Ryan. Ryan.
Okay.
I don't know how your last name. Doggenbaugh. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry.
All right. Let
It's
me
gotta
see.
be. It's gotta be Doggenbaugh. Surely.
Doggenbaugh.
Okay. So what I think I
Cool
need
name.
to do here is I think that my video stream needs to disappear for a second.
All right. Well, I love you.
So love you all. You'll still be able to hear me, but I'm going to disable my video for a moment and try to switch over to. Okay. let me
Keith
start.
Hamilton VFX says maybe you need to create a new Twitter account called But Like the Office.
But like The Office, that would be pretty cool. Just to turn everything into a slightly like found footagey documentary style thing.
Ryan Summers points out that it does handle your glasses reflections shockingly well, and I agree. It's just when your eyes cross the line of the glasses is the only time it really has a problem.
Okay, The Witcher, where are you?
It's Doffinbaugh.
Doffinbaugh.
Sorry for saying your name wrong.
Skype.
Go ahead and try saying my name.
Michael.
Oh, so good, Seth.
Thanks, buddy.
Delete. Okay, add. All right, yeah, bear with me for a second. What I'm doing
I'll bear
here
with
is
you.
I am trying to feed the right parts of my computer into the right other video stream blah blah bars.
While you do that,
And-
why don't I show off my new After Effects script?
Oh, please do.
Boobity bop. So I've got this fun little panel over here that lets me create my VFX and Chill project files for prep or show on command. I can also render straight out to the files they're supposed to go. And I got all my little quick shortcut buttony buttons for tasks that I use almost every day in work. And it's got a little logo and my Whirly Scripts logo and a big old purge cache button to the top. I'm real proud of this. So we're on a show.
Good old purge cache.
What I'm proud of here, as someone who doesn't code hardly ever, is this drop-down menu automatically populates with show folders from our Dropbox, and it knows what basically It looks at the date, looks up what the next Friday is, and makes that show the very top.
What?
Yeah, and then automatically all the other directories that it's going to reference are related to that. So I'm going to create the project, and now I'm working in Seth's show version 01. It'd be funny if I clicked that and just everything broke. Everything died. Like power went out, somehow blew your transformer. Anyway, so that's the Whirly script.
All right, I am getting closer to setting this up so people can see. I want to try to figure out how to have it side by side to some degree.
I say we do this till about 12:30, and then we
I think that's a good call. I appreciate you giving us a time cap on this. So what I'm going to do is...
Did somebody say time cap?
Time cap! Yeah. No! Okay. What was I going to do? I was going to go over to switch this input to a different input. Okay, here's where you might see a Skype logo or something. And the video broadcast, let's start that up. Let's have it grab the feed from YouTube. And let's see, that might have replaced my video screen.
Yeah.
So let me see if there's a way that I can do... If I open up OBS and turn on its virtual camera, this is going to be a lot for the computer to be thinking about for just a second here, everybody. But here's what we got. So I want my NVIDIA broadcast camera over here. Let me see if I can deactivate it and reactivate it. And it's okay. That's not showing up yet. Okay, so let me create a new... Yeah, ignore me for a second. Again, stall, everybody, stall.
Stalling. So,
you'd think I would have planned this specific thing since we're going to talk about it.
Well, I'm trying to think of what we can talk about. I'm not working on anything that I'm allowed to show or talk about. Otherwise, I'd do some show and tell.
Show us. Break your contract.
Well, I tell you what we could do. We could go ahead and assign things for, this thing that we're doing today.
Oh, yeah. What is it that we do on these kinds of days?
Well, I'm going to have to stop the timer because of the way OBS works. Hope everyone's okay with that.
Fair enough.
So today is the last Friday of the month, and on this show, that means it's time for a little thing called VFX Roy-AI-le.
Woo!
Oh, I thought the button did that. Let me try this one more time. VFX Roy-AI-le. There we go.
Yay!
So, VFX Roy-AI-le, what is it, Michael? Walk people through what it is.
Well, VFX Roy-AI-le is basically where we take fictional characters and pretend to make them fight. We've got little wheels of characters, and we spin the wheels, and whatever two fictional characters they match up, we make them fight each other.
I love that Hashi right now is just the Witcher trailer. Like... At a certain point, he's Henry Cavill with long hair.
Nice push in on his face with his funky eyes.
Let's see. Don't we have what's the? See, I don't know this show, so I don't know if there are scenes. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we've got The Witcher, and I'm feeding him into.
So cool that we got Henry Cavill on the show.
Very, very wonderful. Okay, Henry over here. Eyes forward. Oh, had you for a second. You got to pay attention, Henry. Where did you go? There you are. Okay. Pay attention and just look for... There you go. Oh, it replaces them with natural colored eyes.
Uh-oh.
So here's the Witcher trailer with everybody looking dead down the camera.
You catch it at random moments.
That's the best part about it is as it animates in and they're like... If they're not looking at the screen.
We're only getting an Instagram, TikTok version of it on our end, Seth. Because he's got that little cutout.
I can try to do something here. Let me see.
Let's see. I could also turn up the quality of the input coming in here.
No. It's vertically cropped.
Yes.
So I could go to your screen, but because of the way it's set up, we'd lose audio of both of us talking.
Let's not do that. It works most of the shot. It's weird, but I could get some normal colored eyes.
Yeah, that's a little bit too bad.
Look, yeah. Oh well, Answers my question,
interesting.
though.
So how about like maybe Avatar? I'm gonna try looking up a scene because it's a little bit funnier when they are on screen for a little while.
I can try manually pan and scan.
As the director intended.
Okay. Oh gosh,
Oh.
let's see what this
Whoa.
does. Interesting.
It doesn't.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
It does not like it.
Okay, turn it on.
Does.
Oh, whoa.
No.
That's fascinating. Okay, so it sometimes thinks those
Oh,
are
it makes him
eyes.
human.
Okay, let me see. Where's Okay, here might be a scene. Oh yes. Wait, come back. Yes. That's the
Make
way
a
of water,
forgot
folks.
the context.
Oh, Frigby, you're a genius. 100%. It turns everything into Fleabag. It's a Fleabag filter.
The flea bag of fire. Oh yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh no.
all right. So I'm so sorry, but the Navi the Navi cannot use this filter as well as Sam Neill. And like there's an inherent Sam Neill bias in tech that is difficult to
That
overcome.
we're all okay with.
But I think let's see. How about something like Ratatouille? Try to spell that.
Nick Smith wants you to do Mad Eye Moody, but just make his weird eye always be looking at the camera. And then asks, can it do one eye at a time? No, it's supposed to just make your webcam look like you're looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Like it's not supposed to be. We're not playing with it correctly.
It's not
We're climbing
utility.
we're climbing up the slide today.
This is
I've also found that if you do want to test out this technology, the way it seems to work best is if you're on a setup you like here's Harry Potter, and if you turn off the filter and then turn it back on in this framing, there we go. Now it's going to kind of try to stick with. It'll know that this is the framing that it likes adding the eyes to, but it'll not favor other shots when it goes to them so much. Okay, we've got to find a moment where. Okay, he probably talks after this, right? In a nice medium shot.
what are you looking at?
Oh, Maggie Smith. Oh
no.
Maggie Smith just staring into your soul. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's try turning off the filter. Whoops. Oh no, what have I done? There we go. Okay, let me open up NVIDIA again and let me turn off the filter and turn it back on. And okay, we're not registering two
It was
eyes
on
here.
for both the
Ooh,
eyes.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh, also,
Oh, hey, look, it's Twilight.
what about like an Uncharted cutscene?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I just wish that. Oh, gosh.
Ah!
There we are. Here we are. Oh, this is you being yelled at by Professor McGonagall. Oh,
It's got the eyes. Look. Oh my gosh.
that. Oof.
There it is. Screenshot now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's pretty phenomenal. So, an interesting idea. Wait, someone just said another character. We'll do a last one. Wasn't there someone else?
The Lego movie.
Uncharted was like a cutscene.
Oh yeah.
And then like Polar Express is another one.
The Duff Man, Ryan Doffenbaugh, suggests Gollum. Which I think will have the same problem with Gollum as you did with the Na'vi, in that the eyes are so different from human eyes that it barely catches them.
That's right, I think. Okay, I'll turn this on and
Because again, this isn't just a thing trying to change where eyes are looking. It's trying to change where human eyes are looking. And it does a stunning job because it's just got one job to do.
let's see. And so off, and let's turn it back on. Okay. It's too much action in this game. I need more talking heads.
I love that the dialogue in one of those shots was "Look over here."
Well, I need the emotional.
Video game
Here we go.
cutscenes, they move around all the time. They're just doing this the whole time.
What does this character look like?
Why is that, Seth? It's because watching characters talk to each other with this uncanny valley is...
Hey, that's working pretty well, actually.
That's pretty good. It's kind of scary in that, like, there's a little bit more, like, waveriness in them that feels a little bit more alive. Goodness. So, yeah, clearly any kind of sort... Oh, I think I resized my window, so we're getting a little bit of a weirder aspect ratio. I don't know why that's happening. It's happening through split cam somehow. Come on, where's the shot of him? Look. Okay, we get it. We get what this thing does. We know what this is. It makes you look at the camera. So very neat. It's basically like a Snapchat filter, but it is a little bit more intelligent, which is kind of cool. So I am going to switch out of all this and get back to my webcam so we can get back to what the point of today's show, which was, did you all discuss that while I was...
Sort of, which was... VFX Roy-AI-le. As Michael said, we take fictional characters and make them fight each other. We're going to spin the wheels and randomly generate those characters for us. And as soon as Hashi comes back, we're going to do that spinning.
And camera... Lights, camera, and am I back? I think I'm back.
You are back. Welcome back.
Yay, thank you.
All right. So VFX Roy-AI-le. Let's spin the wheels. Hashi, you go first. Here we go.
All right. And blah.
Street Fighter versus the letter U.
Oh, that sounds like
How
a
did
wonderful
Sesame Street get into the
program.
mix?
I don't know. It's everywhere.
We've lost him.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I forget the meeting where we decided, yes, we'll put every character from Sesame Street, including the letters.
They're canonically listed on the Sesame wiki.
It's a very weird list.
Like
Roy-AI-le?
you really should have this should have been like Sesame Street versus Street Fighter or something, you know.
That would have made sense and would have been pretty incredible.
If we had planned this, that would be what we would have done.
Versus the letter U.
We really should plan this. All right. Well, I'll go next. Ugh. James Bond versus the wrong Grail. All right. Okay.
Okay.
So today's just gonna be a weird day then.
It is gonna be a weird day.
A weird day. So yeah, when you have these databases of items,
This is where AI falls short.
yeah. So if we're listing Indiana Jones villains on the Indiana Jones wiki, one of the antagonists
Is a room full of cups that are not that Jesus never touched.
All of them shiny but one.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like your mother-in-law trying to put out the fancy like dishware.
I should
it's got to be this.
I should just animate like a cup literally fighting James Bond. Just replace one of the bad guys with a cup. It just
flies into frame.
Shake me again, mother trucker.
Oh, like
shaken, not
Big Lebowski style with a coffee mug that just slams into his head.
Or like our early adverts for VFX and Chill, where we had mugs attacking people.
Oh yeah,
yes. There was a Sesame Street Fighter.
Nick Smith, Sesame Street Fighter needs to become a thing. You saw that too?
Dang it, that's a better idea than my thing, Nick Smith.
Sesame Street Fighter is a whole other episode. We'll do that for sure.
Sesame Street. I don't know. That's going to be hard to resist.
All right, Michael, you spin.
Double Snake 007 wants us to do Humpty Dumpty fighting Pickle Rick, which we'll see.
Batman.
Interesting. Who do we get to voice
versus Black Panther?
Oh, look, there we go.
Okay.
Finally, a normal matchup.
But how? So how? But you're Michael. So okay, whatever. We'll figure this out. I was going to say I feel like you're going to do some kind of twist on it.
We can make this weird. Give me a second.
Okay. Well, So now that we're VFX Roy-AI-ing, I guess we'll dive right into it, shall we? I got to find some assets. I'm thinking James Bond.
James Bond. Who's one of your favorite James Bonds?
That's a great question. Connery,
There are
I
many.
think, is my first. And then Daniel
Connery's
Craig.
was first, but he's definitely not the best.
No, I mean, I'm not going to get into that. What I am going to get into is, like, if so I have a couple of ways I can do this. I can do, like, James Bond drank from the Grail, and the wrong Grail, and so he's, aging rapidly and deteriorating and crumbling and falling apart.
Kind of dig that.
Like what happens to Donovan. And if I do that, then the idea is finding a clip where it doesn't have to be actual James Bond. It could just be like one of the actors who played James Bond, like writhing and in pain, maybe even choking. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
I
don't want to Google James Bond
James Bond
choking.
did that teaser where like he walks up to the screen after shooting the camera and is like, "You expecting someone else?" That was how it was announced to the world that Pierce Brosnan was going to be James Bond at the new movies.
Oh, really? I don't remember
only
that
knew
one.
Pierce Brosnan not from Remington Steele, but from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire! Holy crap! He chokes in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, does he choke? He is allergic to
Shrimp.
What is it? Shrimp.
Right? And
So
so,
spicy shrimp, and he like extra spice. Oh my gosh!
so if is it weird if he's aging rapidly in front of Mrs. Doubtfire?
In front of Sally Field and the terrified children.
Like, why is James
Well,
Bond
it's
suddenly
all
there?
okay if afterward you cut to the night guy saying he chose poorly, or
And he's in the restaurant. He's like at the nearby table.
oh my gosh, we need. It would be great if the waiter asks advises him to choose something.
Well, now I'm just going to be
Okay.
Googling Mrs. Doubtfire choking scene, which is not what I expected to Google today, but I'm excited.
Yeah, in the meantime,
I'm happy that this is going somewhere.
okay, Mrs. Doubtfire, and he's in a suit, like enough of a suit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's not really a Bond suit, but it's definitely a suit.
That's pretty amazing.
Okay, so he's
All right.
he can just be
Oh, let's see. Oh, there we go. It's pretty animated. Okay, let's see. I just don't remember what these shots are like. That one's pretty good. Straight on.
And the trick is also finding another shot like a cutaway to show the guard,
Like,
the Grail
sell it,
guard.
yeah.
Or you could put the Grail guard's face on Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh my goodness.
He's just rapidly aging and deteriorating here.
Oh, I feel like just like the on the ground shot is pretty good too.
Yeah, you could just go to Santa Dust.
Okay, does he recover? Oh man.
Well, you have these shots. You could just put him here and
Oh, yeah.
replace her.
Oh, these are great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, all three of those are fantastic shots.
Okay.
Such a weird movie if you try to describe it on paper.
It is, but can I tell you? I don't know if I've said this on the show. It held up for me when we rewatched it last year. It's actually a very sweet movie that I had forgotten. It's like a very sweet movie. Has a very great conversation about divorce and like parents getting divorced and like the fact that they don't get back together in the end, but it actually is about like confronting. Like I don't know. It was actually way sweeter than I remembered it being.
I like that. I like that they don't force everything to have worked out somehow.
Totally. Speaking of working out, what's on your screen? Can I go to your screen?
So I am speaking of wikis, since today is all about wikis. I was looking up the Sesame Street set, and this is the best like panorama I found of it. It's just a nice like kind of wide. It's not very tall though, and what's kind of nice about the day and age that we live in is that we have crazy tools, such as Dolly, where I can, let me see, check it out.
Wait, what did you just do?
Okay, let me step through it real quick.
Let me break this down.
Let me break this down. We were talking about Miss Doubtfire for a little while, so I'm going to refine what we were doing here. Okay, so I'm going to upload an image right here, which is Sesame Street here, and I'm going to skip the cropping of it. This is Dolly, by the way, and what we've got here is a very wide picture, but I would like to generate an area that is bigger than this. So let's see, how wide do we want it to be? We'll go with 10, 924 or so. I can't get it right. And then now that we are in this image editing mode, I'm going to place it there and then shift it down, kind of center it like this. And then it'll ask for a prompt. And so I can type something like photo of a city street. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? So I'll say, think about that for a second, and it'll think about that for a second.
Hey, Brooklyn Street.
That's probably a good idea to maintain some of the architecture. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's going to think about that for a moment. Since I'm on limited credits here, I've got my free monthly, whatever it is, 15 credits. So with Dolly again, if you import a picture that you want to expand, you can put it into its image editor and type in a prompt, and it'll fill in the blanks with information that you've provided. So any second now, we will see some cool options for how we could complete this. Look at that.
Holy cow.
So what's remarkable about this is it understood the perspective based on that for here and for this building and everything. So we're taking a photo and expanding it intelligently into other dimensions here, expanding the canvas. And in fact, it gave us 4 options for what this area might look like.
Ooh.
What?
I like that it turned the fire hydrant into a stanchion. That's entertaining.
Very clever. See, so it's just kind of doing its best to guess what things.
I like that one that's got put texture on the road.
This one right here.
That one. I like that because there's like something there.
I like the road there, but I really like the top of the buildings here.
Yeah. Good.
So I'll go ahead and accept those. Do we want Seth? Do you want to check in at all about what you're up to?
No, I'm just downloading my plates.
Just downloading plates.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, let me see. Where are my? All right. I'm going to. I'm not admitting that I did this already, but in case I did, and because Stable Diffusion doesn't run very well on the same system I'm broadcasting from, imagine if I decided to feed this to Stable Diffusion now, this kind of newly created image that did start from this photo of Sesame Street. So this is Sesame Street, no doubt to me. But
Sesame Street, no doubt, no doubt.
What? No doubt, no doubt. What if I wanted it to look more like a stylized painting? Now, these are all going to be very small, but with some settings in Stable Diffusion, I can tell it to look more like artwork. And the reason I want that is because the original is kind of flat, and I actually asked it to put in a little bit more lighting and shadows because I feel like, in case I didn't state what I'm doing, is I want to build Sesame Street Fighter. And I wanted to try to push the look of Sesame Street into the realm of what Street Fighter backgrounds looked like. And this one got pretty close, I thought. I kind of dig this moon and night time kind of thing. Yeah. That one's pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
So I ran these then through Topaz.
I like that turned into night pretty good.
It really did.
Michael, you say that every night.
Like, whoa. Are you seeing this?
That turned into night. Pretty good.
Kids, get over here. Look at this. So
this.
here is me running these pieces of art through. It knew it was Sesame Street. That's for sure.
Wow.
Muppet face up there.
Just, the moon. So this is up-resed through Topaz. And what do we think, folks at home? Do we like this moon kind of one?
I
This
like
one's
the moon
pretty
one.
great. All right, so we're going to use the moon one. And I'm going to turn this
I like
into
the
a
Dr.
Street
Seussy clouds
Fighter
too.
background.
Oh,
It is
thank you.
pretty cool. One thing that I'm actually going to try, since
I mean, you
this
need
is
to just extend it wide because Street Fighter's wide.
That's true. Let me see. Here we are. So what we can do with this image loaded into Photoshop is we could use, we have several options. We could try using the quick selection tool, or we could try using the object selection tool. Let me see if I did object selection, if I can select this building and then shift this building, that rooftop. And now, okay, I want this lower building. Come on. Find it. Okay, find that building. That's good. Find this. Find the roof. Find the roof here. Fine. We're switching to quick selection. I'm just holding down the Shift key, quick selection. As you all know, you can just sort of paint in along your items, and it's going to try to kind of expand them to fill in the rest. So I'm trying to isolate the foreground is obviously what I'm doing here. So now that we have the foreground isolated, let's alt select some of that right there. Do I want this water tower? This is clearly supposed to be a water tower in there, or should I kill it? It doesn't matter. I'm going to kill it, whatever. So Control J will duplicate this layer, and then I can select these pixels, and now I can go back to my background and select, let me turn it back on, and then I'll select the inverse of that, and I can duplicate that little bit. And now let's select, actually I should have kept the selection on, and so I can select the inverse again. So we now have the empty pixel selected. I'm going to modify, expand those, maybe 15 pixels or so, and then we'll say edit content aware fill. And I don't know about that. All right. So not a big deal, but I'm just going to try to strategically erase or add little bits of this. If you don't know, when you're running content-aware fill, it kind of live previews what it's going to look like over here. And on this side of the screen, this is green, right? It's highlighted in green. Asking for confirmation from my...
it's green. So sorry, pal. Yeah, it's green.
All good. And then basically, if you alt-click on areas of this, you can tell them to be sampled, or you can use the subtract tool to say, don't copy this cloud at all. But now it's copying this cloud a lot. So I can say, don't copy that cloud as much by eliminating a little bit of it. And then eventually you can kind of get a balance that you like somewhere of clouds and bits. So I'm going to try maybe this many clouds. Yeah, I like that. I like what that's making. Now I can say apply, okay. And did I apply it to the same layer? I did. That's great. So now I can do a little bit of this once we're in the game. Cool, huh? So a little bit of parallax. And in the background, let me just go back to this layer again, and we'll go to one of my favorite tools, which is the smudge tool at strength 100, where I can just smudge any of these existing pixels whichever way I want, make the size big, hardness low, and now I can just kind of paint with some of these colors. You could do this with a textured brush and get a really crazy cool result, but we're on a time budget here.
Time budget.
Okay, so this background, actually, I don't think it needs to be the whole size of this, so I'm going to crop it down to this big. Actually, why not keep it? It's like 1024 pixels. It's not worth it. All right, we'll call this the sky. We'll call this the buildings. Let's see, what are we doing? Michael, let me know if any. Oh, Michael is probably busy doing stuff. I can read the chat. Let me see if I can read the chat here.
I mean, busy doing what? Yeah, Roy-Ale. I was like,
It's
his
Roy-Ale.
job. But yeah, he's doing Roy-Ale.
The chat got a little bit hung up for a second on the creepy, stalky home invasion part of Justin Justin LeDuc. Anyway, got hung up on the creepy part
of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire, yes.
It is.
Well, I
it
don't
is
understand what's creepy about
says you could
dressing
use
up.
these tools to create HDRIs automatically for your 3D renders. You could, and we have done so on the show previously.
It's pretty nifty. Yeah, and we've obviously, like as our intro kind of indicated, we've been interested in how to artistically deploy AI tools, and know that there are many opinions out there about how these tools came to be. So should I leave this double moon in here? Or should we correct this double moon?
Oh, double moon all the way.
Double moon, Sesame Street. All right. Let's save this as a PSD. And I'm going to also make a ground plane in here. Let's see. How do we want to do the ground plane? Maybe we'll do that all in whatchamacallit, in After Effects. And in
Nick
fact,
Smith wants to know how you all download your plates. Is there a tool that makes that easy?
I use a tool called 4K Video Downloader. That's a very generic name. It sounds like it's a virus. It's actually super great. I can just paste, hang on, I'll show you. You just paste the link and it downloads it. It's pretty great. I don't have anything in the clipboard at the moment, and it downloads it, and you don't have to go to any weird, creepy site that shows you porn ads while you're trying to download YouTube videos.
Surprising overlap of porn ads and trying to acquire assets. It's weird. It's like,
you don't have to say assets. I mean, it could have made.
I think I did. I think people out there looking for assets online will run into lots of.
By the way, so here's what I'm thinking. It's going to be more work than I can accomplish on the show, but I'm thinking that this shot, I'm going to replace Sally Field with one of the Pierce Brosnan Bond girls. I don't remember any of them, so I'm going to find a clip of one just right there. And he drinks from this glass. I'm going to see if I can just replace the glass with one of the gold Grail.
I forgot that he even drinks from a glass. It's so perfect.
And then I'll cut to right here.
Oh,
and
yes.
have him start to, freak out. I may not need this shot, but I'll have him get up. He's choking. I'm going to remove Doubtfire here and just use a cut of this of him just going, "Whoa," and then falling back and landing and just dissolving to ash. And then you cut to he chose poorly.
That's so beautiful.
So I'm trying to find the right Pearson
Burden.
Yeah.
Jurgen Bourbon.
Before I search for Bond girls, I'm just going to go ahead and switch
turn
to
off my safe search and history. All right. So back here in Sesame Street, can you tell me how to get to a more 64-bit look? And yes, I can. We're going to do that all in After Effects, so we have control over it kind of throughout. What I'm going to do now is something similar to a tutorial that I've already released in case you need the short version of it. I think it was a shortcuts. What? No. Side quest. It was a side quest.
You've already forgotten the branding of your own stuff.
Branding.
Word.
Which side quest is it? Which one are you talking about?
There's a side quest called how to make your image into a 16-bit something or something like that. It's a fun little tutorial. It talks about the many variety of ways that you can kind of simulate an N64.
VFX side quest, creating a 16-bit retro video game look. And the link for that is in the chat.
Let's watch the whole thing right now.
No, watch it after the show, folks.
After the show. Okay, so let's dive into that thing that I prepared. Where is it? Under Hashi's folder, Elements, and Photoshop file. One of these must be a Photoshop file. Oh, they're under the high res. Here we go.
You guys know
Background
how much I
9
love watch
enhanced.
folders and Adobe Media Encoder?
What about them?
They're wonderful. That's all.
They are wonderful. All right, so we've got our background, and here's what I'm going to do. I brought in my Photoshop file, and so I have now like the background sky and the building separately, and I'm going to bring them into their own little comp right here because I want their artwork. I don't want it to be, let me show you an example. If you do something like adding a top-down adjustment layer and used something like, what is that one thing? Not depth scanner, block load, CC block load. This is kind of a cool filter. As you dial this up, you can see that it looks like an old school like loading screen where it sort of like scans everything in. And you can say what number of scans you have and everything. And I have found that this is a pretty great way. You can see I'm going to uncheck Start Cleared. And check this out. So it takes it from this look, the art look, to this very pixelated Street Fighter-esque like level of graphics, which like in the day, these VGA graphics would be amazing. And depending, I think, on the number of scans you say, like if I said 8 scans, then I could get a higher number of pixels or whatever. So that's one way you can pixelate something. I really like it because it's just a unique kind of look. Some of the other ways that you could get this effect are as simple as like mosaic or something like that. Mosaic is kind of fun because you can, what I would do in a case like this is expression link the vertical blocks to the horizontal blocks. That way, as I turn this up, I'm getting a square pixel result. And somewhere around here, you can kind of decide how big you want your pixels to be. But you can also check the sharp colors box, and that will do kind of the same thing that block load was doing, where you're getting, kind of annoying halos and stuff from like the rasterization process. I don't really know actually how artwork was converted into the when it wasn't actually designed as pixel art. I don't know how they converted paintings to little like. Does VGA graphics make sense if I say that?
Sure.
So I feel like this is in the realm of quality for.
You can also use
a Street Fighter kind of game.
You can also use an effect that I've used on all, like the Roy-AI-le logo up here. You see, like all of our VFX and Chill stuff by Wonk Effects called Pixtether.
Oh yes,
that's really great. I can't show it to you right now because I have to. It's not built for Mac ARM. I have to reload After Effects in Rosetta mode, which I don't want to do right now. But that's a really useful tool for anyone looking to do like bitmappy looking quantized color effects.
Clever. All right. What I'm also going to do, and I'm just deciding this now. I'm making this too complicated because I'm just still working on the background. No. I'm just going to quickly try to select just these cloud elements like this using the what is it even called? The quick selection tool. Did I say quickly select these with this tool? I don't know what it was called. Yes, I did. Let's select these pixels again, and we'll go into our sky level. Actually, instead of content-aware filling, I am going to smudge tool away the clouds in this. Just if you're having a bad day, just smudge brush those clouds away. Blue skies are here to stay. All right, let's smudge our way back to a cloudless sky. I need more of this kind of color. I would do this more artfully, but we're in our fast time. Let's grab one of these. There we go. Oh, that's too sharp. How about this one? Oh, too detailed. How about this one? Too much. Fine. I just want to give the folks a little bit of texture.
Aw.
I don't like it. Seth, what have I done?
I don't really know.
What are we all doing?
But I know that I found a Bond girl.
Oh, I should turn my strength down, that's all. And I can get a little bit more.
I'm thinking that I can put, I forget this actress's name from GoldenEye. I can put her in place of Sally Field here.
Oh, Xenia.
Yeah, what's her name? I like how you just look to the poster on your wall and you're like, Xenia.
Like, that was played by someone in the chat. Let us know who that is, and I will thank you aloud. Oh, no, I wasn't trying to open Lens Studio right now. That would be insane. Let's see, what time are we at?
What's terrible about this, by the way?
in.
Never mind. I'm not going to get into it.
Oh no, I opened Effect House. That's the
her name was Effect House?
Effect House is the Lens Studio for TikTok.
Oh, it's not her last name. Okay.
No. Let's see. So back in here, Seth, can I take over again?
Yeah. Get back.
So one of the things that I wanted to show on this example by, let's see. I need to re-import my clouds here. Oh, I think you got to switch me over.
Oh, I thought I did. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong
That's
button.
all right.
There we go.
All right. Lovely. I'm going to import these cloud layers. And now one advantage to a top adjustment layer, in theory, is that I could put these clouds back in, and now I can have a little bit of like Ninja Turtle style, like depth. But if you're looking up close at any kind of mosaic effect and you're moving something under it, this is a very telling effect that it's very telling that it is a post effect when you can see up close that these pixels are actually really just shifting to new spots and the mosaic is recalculating every frame. And so because of that, I don't like to use a top adjustment layer, even though that's sort of what I'm showing here. So instead, I would usually apply this mosaic to the actual sky layer, have no top layer, and now when this is flat, that's what it looks like rasterized. And then same thing, I can apply the same level of pixelization to the clouds here. Sharp colors, that's good. The number of horizontal blocks might actually need to be decreased because of the relative size of this layer. I want them to be more even. And then the last thing I'm going to do is down here in the layer stack, one thing that you can do is if you press F4 to show your quality switches, quality and sampling, I'm going to switch the quality and sampling to low for both of these. So this is not a switch that you monkey with often, but one thing that is great about it is if you look at if I solo this and look at the edges of one of these, instead of it trying to do any kind of high quality interpolation like that for the scaling, it's just forcing it to be this very crummy pixel shape no matter where it is. And that'll be helpful later. So now we can apply this to this, and we're going to make a little cycle of these clouds. So what I should have done with these clouds, and I can still do it, is just jump into Photoshop and make it. And so instead of getting cut off at the end there, they actually have a bit of a rounded edge. So let's round off the side of that cloud so it can end somewhere. Great. And then I'll save that. And this is going to be kind of cheesy, but I should be able to just save that, go back in here, reload this layer. Great. And now I have the edge of clouds like that. I'll put this right here. We'll add the offset effect to it, and we'll add an expression to the shift center.
What?
So what we'll do is we'll say shift the center, and it needs, I'm sorry that this is so small, but we need 2 coordinates. And in the X, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say time times maybe 200 pixels per second. And in the Y column, I'm just going to pick whip to the actual Y location. That way I can move it around at will. And then a closing bracket for that effect. And now I should, if all goes well, be able to press play. And now I have a delightful, just slowly passing clouds. That might actually be too fast. That's pretty distracting. So let's change this down to maybe 80 pixels per second. And that will give me...
All right. So you can, making it jump the right number of pixels.
Yes. Let's do that. That is... what am I looking for again? Is it round or... no. Not rounding. Integer or something? It's an interpolation.
Math at floor? No. I just tuned in. I haven't been paying attention at all. I'm sorry.
I think floor is right. Or is it math min? And then
floor is rounding down. It's
okay.
I use
so
math
if I
floor
said,
all the time.
Yeah, so if I did, say so for some JavaScript math, and I'd said math floor of the time times 80. Let's see, I think that...
Excuse me.
That should make it okay. So every bit it moves over is in increments of 1 pixel. Now, what would I do if I wanted to... Okay, I can divide this number by 4 and make it times 20, and then multiply this whole thing times 4. Let me see what that does. Okay, is it clear that it's doing anything? It's now moving exactly 4 pixels every time. And if I divide that again and make this into 8 or something, maybe that will look more stepped. There we go. It's hard to know if this will come across on the stream, but what it's doing now is it's using a round, or the floor function, to round to every 8 pixels that it can actually move.
Looks good.
And I could posterize it beyond this afterward as well, if we wanted to. Let's save our project. Always a fun step. We'll call this Hashi Show 1. Okay, 305. All right, not too bad, not too bad. I'm going to copy the mosaic effect that I have going on here. And normally you could apply something like, you could reduce the number of colors beforehand as well. But I'm kind of not, so we'll see how this all turns out. Let's create a pre-comp for our building and apply the same mosaic effect. It's going to look not great. I feel like there's going to be too much detail, and the mosaic effect just clearly looks like a pixelization. In fact, it makes it look more like a photo than the kind of art kind of thing that we were going for here. So I'll turn the quality switch to low, and before I run my mosaic, I'm going to add the posterize effect. And that, I think, is under color correction, right? Or is it under stylize?
Stylize.
Stylize. So I'm going to posterize. And it's posterize, not posterize, right? Or we're going to guess anyway. I should probably do...
I always just hit Control Spacebar and type post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's... I should probably apply it to this, too. So when you posterize something, it's forcing it to this number of colors, basically. So I'm going to force it to 16 for the background. That'll give me some extra pixel stuff. And again, Seth was mentioning Pixdither would actually do a phenomenal job at all this stuff and do the kind of the same thing, but probably better. In fact, I don't remember if I have... Do I have Pixdither, Seth? What do I have on my computer?
I don't know. I haven't been on your computer in a while.
Oh, I have RetroDither.
RetroDither.
Oh, there we go. We've sensitified it, which is kind of cool. This should be what flashes when there are severe impacts
Lightning.
during the game. You
Yeah,
know?
or like, yes.
So I would like this to be, let's try 256 colors and see what that looks like with Sierra style dithering. And we'll downscale it 8 times. So yeah, you can see it's doing a similar thing. It's forcing it to a 256 palette. But instead of the Sierra dithering, you could do something more like a Floyd Steinberg, which is kind of what you're used to from a, like here you can see better in the gradient.
Floyd
here,
Steinberg's the one that like the
it's
go-to.
Lovely. So it gives a very pixely.
I think all of our VFX and Chill
look.
stuff is just a Bayer 4x4 that I've scaled.
Yeah, let's try a Bayer 4x4. Oh yeah.
It also helps before you apply that to noise HLS. It'll create, and then do it on like the hue or I tend to do it on the hue, and it creates this noise that then like the dithering
Oh,
plays
interesting.
to really nicely. You don't have to.
That's
do it,
pretty
but
cool. I'm going to skip it for now because I like the minimal like
Totally.
thing that's sort of going on here, because there's a very big difference between converting something to, just into a lower palette and stuff, and stuff that actually looks like it was artfully designed that way. I think that we're in the right realm now with this stuff. So I'm going to create a new composition that is going to be where my game takes place. And because I want to give myself a special treat, we're actually just going to make it a nice 640 by 480 comp. Doesn't that feel so lovely? Can you imagine making something at 640 by
days
480?
that I missed, never had.
Man, doing graphics for like DVDs, the best feeling ever.
Oh, well, I did that, like DVD menus, but I still always did them in 16:9. I didn't open up After Effects until 2009, summer 2009. Before that, it was everything I could do in Final Cut Pro or like a year of trying out motion.
Beautiful. All right. So I've brought in the 2 layers that we've already created as 3D layers, and I've turned their quality switches down. And I think I'm going to scale them. Let's see. Oh, I feel bad about this, but I'm going to stretch this. What's it going to look like when I stretch it?
No. At least it's not a font.
Yeah, it's not a font. Okay, so let's find where our ground plane in the game would be. Maybe this around here. This is kind of sad. This is less of the set of the street than I wanted to see. I guess we could. I just want there to be a little bit of back and forth space. So maybe here. Okay, we'll do that. We'll move our sky back because we're actually going to use the 3D camera to do this, which is stupid. Do an expression or something. And then I'll scroll this down to like here. There we go. And now the camera is going to be able to do this. Is that enough parallax on the sky? We want more. We want more. We want more. Let's push it back even further. Scale it up again. And we want more of the detail on that sky if possible. Okay. So now we've got our camera. This is so stupid. Yes. Okay, here we go. Now we've got this back and forth. And then I want one more level of coolness here. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a new solid that is 640 by 640. And we're going to add some fractal noise to it. What did I do? Oh. We'll add some fractal noise. Where are you?
I'm
VFX
right here.
console. What was I doing? Fractal noise, block mode. Learned this from Aaron Rabinowitz way back in the day. Animating that creative cow logo. We want noise type block. Block type will make the complexity all the way down to, I don't know if I actually want it at 0. 0 gives you nice little like random squares like that, but I'm going to turn it the complexity up just a little bit.
Why?
So it's just for this, it's going to look like kind of a sidewalky texture.
Okay.
I'm going to turn the contrast down to something like this. And yeah, just something like that is great. I'm going to turn its quality setting down to low and then make it 3D, which should put it right in the middle along with the buildings. And then I'll flip it down to be facing the camera. And now if I slide it down to right here, aligned with the line of the gutter, I'm going to then expand it. Actually, let me go to its anchor point and put its Y anchor point at 0. And now I'm going to stretch it out like that until it comes past the line of the camera. And then I'm going to stretch out the artwork until it is as wide as you can see kind of outside my canvas there and there. And then I'm going to turn its opacity down like this. So we're still getting the ground gradient pattern, but we have this low quality checkerboard thing. So now as the camera goes back and forth, that's too good for a game like this. Let's do a little bit slightly bigger blocks. Let's scale them up. What do we think? I want some kind of indication that there's a text here. I mean, not text. That there's a ground. And in these video game days, they had to really fake it to get it to look neat at all. So we'll try this, and now let's look at it. Is that too 3D for something of this era?
Yeah.
Or is that? Are we okay?
That works. I like it.
All right.
That works really nicely.
I'm going to figure out something with this. The camera should be very constrained in an area like this, or in a thing like this. Let's turn the sky down a little bit, just with a nice standard brightness and contrast, so it looks even more nighttimey. I'm going to see if I can darken the Sesame Street also. Because I feel like the Street Fighter levels are all relatively dark. Oh gosh, look at that.
Oh.
Do we know it's Sesame Street still?
Yeah.
Is this too much? Okay, let's use Legacy, because that's going to be even greater, because then I can desat it with the contrast. And turn this down. Oh, what do we think, folks? Somewhere in here, I'm liking this. Oh gosh, and the stupid clouds in the background.
The stupid clouds are great.
They're so great. They're just moving along. Okay, so now we've got our Sesame Street set up. I'm going to create a null object, and let me know if I'm taking up too much of the air on this show. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, like, you're doing way more interesting work today, which is normal. I'm literally working my way through this scene where
I'm parenting the camera to a null here, and I'm going to figure out how far the null can move over within this space. It can move up to 273. Was that it? Oh. Okay, it can be as far back as 212 or as high as, okay, what would that be? This is 640 by 480. Let's do some quick math, everybody. Everyone loves math. What's 360 minus 212? That's 146. Times 2 is what? 282? Or something like that? Doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a solid. We'll make it 50 by 50 and white. You'll see what I'm doing in a second. This is very silly, I know. But we're going to put this white solid right here. I'm going to make it a guide layer. That means it's not going to render along with this, but it's something right up here that I can grab. Okay? So we're going to make it so the position of this null is affected by the position of this white solid. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to alt-click on the position, and we're going to do our little bracket situation again. I want to maintain the Y position, and I want to maintain the Z position, so I've pick-whipped those into these two categories. But for this first one, I'm going to do a fun expression type called interpolation linear. And we're going to use this one with all of these values right here. And here's what linear interpolation does. It will say, let's see. How do I explain this? I've explained this in tutorials as well before. It's going to be a little bit small, but I want basically when the value of the X white solid is somewhere between 0 and 640, like that, I want that value to basically become the offset that is possible for this null, which we were just looking at a second ago. So the way we do that is in this function that After Effects will auto-define for you right here when you go to interpolation, like that, on your little expression thingamabob. I don't know what this is called. We can say, what property are you monitoring? And I'm monitoring the position, the X position of this thing. Seth, tell us about how important X position is when it comes to
it's important. That's it.
Well
that's
done.
all I got.
Well done. That's all I needed. So from anywhere between 0 and 640, I want to turn that into the value 212 all the way through value. I forgot already. What's the opposite of 2? Let's see, it was minus. I can't think. Oh, you can just write math in here, huh?
Yep.
360 plus. 360 plus 360 minus 212. It's not minus 212 though. What I wanted to do. Why can't I do math, Seth? This should be 450. Remember, the idea was to turn this into. Oh no, it's not doing it. What's wrong? What's wrong? What does it say? Oh, there's not a closing bracket. Sorry. Okay. No. Seth.
Yes.
What is it not doing here?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Indicates. Okay. Linear of. Oh, there's no comma there. Man, I tried to show off and I couldn't. Here we are. Okay, so that is a little bit too far. Let's try 444. Nope, even less. It's always good to just, instead of doing the math, just guess multiple numbers.
Oh,
until
yeah,
you
for
get
sure.
it right. There we go. Okay, this is stupid, but this is our controller, and I can just put keyframes on this little white block as I want the screen to kind of go left or right. Okay? Neat. That was very silly. Okay. Someone mentioned that the clouds are a little bit too smooth compared to the foreground. So in that case, let's correct that because I value your input. Let's say for this whole result here, let's posterize the time. So let's go to expression properties. Let's go to globally posterize the time to 8 frames per second. And then we'll put a little semicolon right there. And it should be nice and happy now. And now what it should do is it should go tick, 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 tick. I don't know. What do we think? Is 8 frames per second too smooth still? It is very smooth. And maybe this value should be a little bit lower. Let's try this value at like 3. There we go. That is just annoying enough. And we'll call this the Sesame Street Fighter.
Still love that title so much.
Sesame Street Fighter. Sesame Street Fighter 2. Okay, so what have we got now? So now we have this, and my prompt was versus the letter U, right? And if you all love the street like I do, that's what we call Sesame Street in this house.
The street.
The streets. Hey, kids. You'll remember the amazing "You've Really Got a Hold on Me" video. It's phenomenal. It's the letter U singing or dancing alongside to the "You've Really Got a Hold on Me"
Nice
song, and I can't remember who is in that.
I don't remember it at all.
I'm going to look it up in the background real quick because this is a clip show, if anything. You really got a hold on me.
My friend Aaron McGowan and I once wrote a sketch about. She played a character who was auditioning to play the Count, like in human form. It made no sense, but she couldn't keep from breaking down into laughter every time she'd do the fake laugh, and it was funny enough to go for like 5 minutes. It was like Von, and it would just fall into this laughter.
My gosh!
And like she'd lose herself, and then like get time to come back to it, and then would start all over again.
Oh, Smokey Robinson. I'm so sorry, Smokey Robinson.
Hey, it's okay.
So I don't have the sound on, but this is his famous song. It's "How's It Go of You." Seems that I'm always thinking of you.
Yeah, keep singing.
It's so great. So this letter U is it's quite a clear character. A little bit. This is so great. Look at this. This technology is more impressive than anything NVIDIA has ever done. Where's the puppeteer? It's impossible. See?
Yeah, impossible.
Okay. So I would like my character U to be similar to this U right here. So I have an idea for that. But Seth, could we check in with you for a second while
We could. I think a second ago, I don't know if you could hear me. I started walking through stuff, and then you went right back into your comp, and so I didn't want to interrupt you.
I did. Thanks, everyone. I love you all.
No, sorry. I just didn't want you to think that I was leaving you completely out to dry. I am right now, I'm painting out Sally Field from this because I don't want to find a performance and add the Miss Femke Johnson. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Femke Johnson?
I feel like people used to say Famke Janssen.
Yeah. So there she is, replacing Sally Field in that shot. And I'm thinking he takes a drink from the cup. Then I'll do the de-aging stuff starts here. And then he gets up here. And so I'm trying to paint her out of this. And instead of doing like content aware fill throughout the whole thing, I did a couple reference frames. I did a reference frame from the beginning of and I sent a reference frame to Photoshop. Did a really gross content aware fill out from there. And then I'm doing another one here. And then where after the camera tilts up. And then I just use Spot Clone Tracker to track just a point in the background.
Oh, nice. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go film myself doing something.
Good luck. So I used a Spot Clone Tracker to track this little, point on the window in the background. It gave me a track of the camera. I applied that positioning to a null, and I parented this first reference frame to it. And when I turn on my roto of Pierce, it's not bad for what I'm looking for. So I'm just trying to fill the top here. And so I got this reference frame for the top frame. And I'm just going to click my little button over here called Freeze, which will time freeze it and stretch it out to span the width of the comp. And then I'll parent that to that Spot Tracker null and put it back here. Obviously, you want to feather that transition a bit. And so now I've got, it's not super good, but In fact, I don't need it to cover the entire background, just this part of where Sally Field is. Let's switch these. Wait a minute. I didn't think this through. I don't need that one.
Wait, where's my...
What's up?
Back. I was trying to... where are you? Are you still working? I wanted to go do some motion capture of myself in the other room, and I'm just not positive if I just did it or not.
Usually you know if you did.
Usually you're did it not register it somehow? No. Wait, let me see here.
Why does his head disappear? That's ridiculous.
Maybe is it processing it in the background somehow? No. No, I've got to go do it again.
It's okay. I've got to babysit a freaking rotor brush. I'm not even gotten to the fun part of this effect yet. I just feel like I want to eat my vegetables first.
I might be able to do this in this room. I'm not positive, but I could try.
Do you want me to go to anything?
You can just see my webcam is all that would.
Yeah, we can see
theory. So I'm gonna try doing this right here in the room.
Michael, you doing all right?
I've loaded up the Moves by Maxon app right here, and I'm going to try to record myself doing a little motion here.
Do it.
So it doesn't detect my body because I'm not in the frame right now, and I'm just going to go back into the hall and do this.
All right, later.
I'll be back.
This is a really terrible roto job, Seth. Whatever, who cares? I care. Dang it. All right. Might have to hit it again. Hit it again.
Yes, I got it.
Michael, real quick, you got anything you want to show us, or? Can't hear you, bud.
Let me share my screen here.
All right.
Let's see, start sharing. So, I was looking at my characters here, and I was thinking, they're both dressed darkly, and they've both got little ears on their costumes. So I was sitting here thinking, who wore it better?
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a little thing of we're just gonna do a little a title thing of who wore it better. So I've got my little model of Black Panther here. Got the little model of Batman. A Batman. He's got some abs, so I guess he's okay. I took his cape off because I figured that's kind of cheating, but I've got the cape there if we want it. Might keep it on him. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So black costume with ears. Who wore it better? I'm gonna make a little motion graphics piece with it in the next half hour, I think.
I love it.
Took me a while to get my assets pulled together, but I'm pretty pleased where I'm at currently. And we'll see how our little MoGraph thing of who wore it better goes.
Excellent.
I'm gonna do some camera moves around the heads, I think, which I'll talk about once I get the rig set up, and we can go from there. Unless you need to cut to something, in which case I can walk you through setting up a cool camera rig.
Why don't you?
Do it.
Right.
Do it. We'll have some learning.
Learning. All right, so we got our camera, and just like in After Effects or anywhere else, if you want to orbit around something, you need to set up a better rig. Oh, excuse me a second.
Yeah,
you might need to
go to that. Go
I
right
hear
ahead.
crying children.
Go right ahead. Meanwhile, I'm still rotoing Pierce.
It's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
Roto your Pierce, everybody.
Hmm.
So what I've got over here is I'm opening Moves by Maxon on my screen. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can just I take over, right? Start sharing. Okay. So I am just trying to make sure that I have this properly done here. Moves by Maxon. I'm just trying to connect my device to the computer. Announce my service to the local network. And let's see, I was able to get one in earlier, but that's not the one I want. I want this new one now. I want to send it to Nuts. What?
To Nuts.
What is anything? All right. One sec. I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, it's okay. I'll just keep on rotoing. I love this face on here as I roll. Freeze.
Excellent. Freeze. All right. I am trying to manually send my the capture that I just did to my computer, but it's not liking it. Usually, I just open it up and say connect to Hashi's computer. So I don't know why my computer doesn't want to. It doesn't want to be part of the deal today.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, let me close that and try reopening it. Moves by Maxon. Pop. Okay. Okay, service disabled for a second. Don't announce for a second. Just take a little break. And now announce to the local network. Okay. And now my phone, which is on the local network, should now say, oh, here you are.
Oh, sorry. Did you want me to go?
No. You don't need to.
Okay.
Weird.
I'm using a handy little script that our friend Jason built after what he watched the show and saw that we use Spot Clone Tracker all the time to track points, and he made this little script that applies Spot Clone Tracker, narrows it down just to the orange guide, and it makes it where it's not actually doing anything except tracking. Creates a null in the comp that is parented already to the point of the spot tracker, so you can just run the script, track the point, and it'll already be applied to a null in your comp. So in this case, I've got this reference frame that I did. I'm just going to parent it to that spot tracker null, and now that reference frame will move the way it's supposed to, and I'm just going to put that back here behind my roto of Pierce. So now Mrs. Doubtfire's gone, except for her arm, which I can probably just apply a scale transform on an adjustment layer and scale it up and reposition so we can just crop that arm right out. Yeah. And then I'm going to go like, I think this is what I'm going to make the clip.
It's so great, really.
So now the cut in here is looking like this. I really want to replace that cut.
To our health.
Oh, I got to do that.
That is fluid, man. That's great.
I'll probably hold on this one longer so we can see his like body like disintegrate into dust, into ash. Let's see. I might extend the comp a bit. Just give myself room.
Oh, I'm so happy.
How'd yours go?
Okay, it went well.
I'm going to go to you.
Yeah, so here's what we got. So through Moves by Maxon, I was able to record myself out in the hallway, and here's what I did. So I run into place, and then I get into my pose. This is my U pose, my idle U pose. So what I decided to do, and I realized that the screen direction is backwards here, so I'll need to flip it. But I was imagining that I'm like the puppeteer in Sesame Street, who's holding, the top two, or I imagine so. You can't see him. Like has the U like attached to their waist, and then has a shape like this somehow. So I did a few little like jabs with the top part of the U, and with the maybe like little like 1-2 with both bits of it. And my hope is that I can just simply add a 3D letter U like this. And then actually what does the Sesame Street U look like? It's got beautiful eyes and lips. Okay, great.
Beautiful eyes and lips.
That's what we always call them. All right, let's. Where could I find something like that? I don't have the time to build them, even though it seems like they would be extremely simple. Tune. Mr. Potato Head. Mrs. Potato Head.
Dad?
Mr. Potato Head has beautiful eyes also, but
beautiful eyes and butt.
Beautiful eyes and butt. Butt pics. What were you looking up earlier? I don't remember. No, I don't like any of these. Come on. Okay, cartoon.
Anyway.
Cartoon face.
He's back.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
So there are a number of camera rigs out there.
Sharing your screen?
Switch back to Michael.
I was. Share screen again?
Yeah, share.
Yes.
Okay, hang on just a second. Let me get that done.
I don't like what was showing up in your Sketchfab importer, Hosh.
That Sketchfab importer always up to something.
It was up to something there. Hosh, you sharing now, Michael?
No, I was just figured I would check real quick what the chat was doing.
Oh, good idea. They're all dead.
I'll go ahead
and... Here we go. Share screen.
All right.
Full monitor. Start sharing. I am putting in the chat something that should be helpful. It is this camera rig right here from Woo Sung Kang. Actually, I just linked his presentation, not the actual camera rig. When you have time, if you work at all in Cinema 4D, Woo Sung Kang's presentation that he did for Maxon a little bit ago had some amazing techniques for getting stuff done and After Effects and Trapcode. He actually uses Trapcode's sound keys to drive the redshift lights in post. You can do a really cool thing in Redshift where you can render out different light groups. So you just do one render, and it splits out each light group to its own pass. So then you just comp in After Effects, and you can adjust the opacity, brightness, color, whatever of the lights in post. So he uses, he's doing this really cool music visualizer of these clouds and stuff flying around, and then he can make the flashes happen based on Trapcode sound keys in After Effects, and it'll have a lot more tweakability and fast rendering because he's doing it in comp rather than in the main render. Anyway, he shares this lovely camera rig, and I've got it here, and I'll show you how to build one from scratch. But it's really handy. You can rotate from the center of the comp. You may move the camera distance, camera tilt, focal length, and stuff all from just this one camera rig position here. And then you've got, let's see, the camera distance, camera height, and it's all going around based off of this target object here that you drag around. Really handy. Anyway, I'll show you how to build a basic camera rig from scratch real quick. So let me get rid of this one and add in a new camera. So here we've got a camera. Let's look through that camera. Now, I personally prefer to navigate around my scene by flying every which way except where I want to go. Just kidding.
I literally did not know that where your mouse was when you did the camera orbit mattered. Like if you are clicking on the Batman model, it'll rotate around the Batman model. And I have no idea how I got this far in my life without knowing that.
Yeah, it's really handy how it behaves. Let's see. My 3D mouse is not working. I usually move around with my 3D mouse. Anyway, doesn't matter. We don't need to worry about the 3D mouse. We need to worry about just doing our camera. Okay, here we go. Here's our camera. So you've got a camera, and you want to control. Let's say we just want to do like an orbit around his head here. Let's see, Black Panther character here. So we want to orbit around his head, and so you'd think, well, I can just set a keyframe here and a keyframe here. But just like in After Effects, what's going to happen is it's going to just travel linearly from that point to that point. So you need to build yourself a little rig. So I'm going to center this camera back, right click, right click, right click, right click, right click, sets everything back to 0, and then we'll move back some. So we're at world 0 here.
A little rig.
And making a null, and this is going to be it's going to be our first little bit for the camera rig. I'm just going to do a very basic camera rig setup because you can get complicated. So I'm going to put the camera in there. I'm going to call this camera rig. And so then whenever we move this null object, that's where the camera's center is going to be. And this is going to be basically the camera's distance to that null. So then all we have to do is rotate this null object, and you've got a lovely rotation around the head. And I think we probably want to put that more here, because the face is where we humans tend to focus on. Yeah, that feels much more natural way to kind of rotate around that. Maybe a little bit further forward even. Yeah, that's pretty cool looking. Some more of a stylized look there. Yeah. Anyway, but do you want clicking back and forth to say, hey, I want the camera to move around, distance-wise, and then move the position and this around. You're not going to want to do that, clicking back and forth when you're actually doing some full animation. So what you really want to do is set yourself up a really basic rig. Now, I'm going to be doing a little bit of espresso. Don't be scared.
No.
It's just like expressions. It's just like expressions in After Effects, but easier.
Wait, I like
because
this.
you can actually see where the data flows.
Wait a second.
In After Effects, it's just code. Yes, what? Hi. You like that?
I like it. Okay, you calmed me down.
Yeah, no, it's.
I can't tell if he thinks his mic is off and he's talking to himself, like to his own comp.
I was just afraid when we were mentioning expressions and things and math.
Yeah, no, espresso being a coffee joke, because there's espresso and cappuccino and other things inside Cinema 4D. There's a bunch of coffee jokes. Anyway, so this is espresso.
Love it.
And yeah,
It makes
it's just
me
like
think
expressions.
of in Utah, there was a short-lived coffee joint called Federal Espresso, and they were not allowed to call themselves that for very long, unfortunately, even though I thought that it was great.
Well, the very handy thing about espresso, unlike expressions in After Effects, is you can actually see what's driving what. Like, it's visual. So I think it's way less scary than expressions in After Effects, which I also don't think are that scary. So I want to control, just very basic level, I want to control this camera's distance right here from the main null object. So this is the property I want to control. So I'm like, hey, I want the camera to be controlled, and I want specifically this property to be controlled. And boom, we've got the position C for that camera is on this null. So whatever gets piped into this little node here is going to be that number. And I want to put the control for it here, because this is where I'm going to be doing all my controlling for the position and whatnot of the camera center. So I want some data somewhere here that I can use to drive this. But there's not, like, all this data is actually driving other things. I want to make my own arbitrary data, my own user data, if you will.
User data.
Yeah, so you just say user data, add user data. And here we go. We can make our own stuff. This is like pseudo effect maker in After Effects, or like adding just those expression controls. You can name it whatever you want. So I'm going to say cam distance, and it'll be. We don't want it to be a percent. We'll make it a real number, and we want this number to be technically it'll be negatives because the camera is moving minus z, but I don't want it to be like I want to be able to say, hey, this camera's 1,000 centimeters or whatever away without worrying about the fact that it's negative. So handily, I can adjust that here in a second, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Limit max, we don't want to limit the max. We're going to be able to go far, far away. The minimum, let's see, the minimum, or the default, I mean, should be, what are we at? I forget where we're at. Let's just say the default value should be, let's say 300, just for now. We can change that later. Anyway, and I just hit OK. And what happens is we get a new tab up here. So we got our object information data and our user data right up here. So we can have both of those on screen, coordinates, and the user data. Cam distance is 300. And I'm like, hey, I want my camera rig. And I'm going to drag it to this side. So I can output this to that. But we need to flip it because we're going negative. So I just really quick need a math node here, and I'm just going to change it from, just really easily, because you multiply anything by -1, and it flips it. So our cam distance is 300, going in here. Now that number, which is the cam distance, which is currently is 300, multiplied by -1, comes out here. Let me show you exactly what this is doing with a result node, so you can actually see the math happening. We'll pipe that in there. Boom, -300. Perfect. So I pipe this into here, and our camera is now at -300 away from its parent. So not that complicated. Pretty easy peasy. You can see the flow of data. This number is going in here, flipped. So on our camera rig, we can say I want this to be whatever pixels away, and we've got it there. And we can rotate. And that's the very, very basics of building a camera rig. You just set up whatever user data controls you want, and you can always go to manage user data and add, much more data. You can make little groups that you can fold up and make, build this huge complicated rig. But it's really, really at its core, it's very simple. You just say, I want this data. I'm going to add. Let's see, what else should we put in here? I don't know. We just put in whatever data you want. Let's see, we'll just call this new thing. We'll just leave everything like that. And boom, you've got new thing right here. And you can use that in your Expresso. So say the new thing on a drive something, put it in there, and you can make that drive something else. That's the very, very basics of building a little handy camera rig, or really any rig. This kind of technical rigging I do in Cinema 4D all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. Whenever someone says, what do you do? And I don't want to say motion design, like someone who actually knows about motion design and visual effects, I'm like, particles, stadium graphics, weird aspect ratios and sizes, and technical rigging. Like, I love building, like, you would just move one slider, because you can make this, this can feed out into other things. You saw me feed into the result node, but you can feed that into a bunch of other things. So I like making one slider, be able to control a whole bunch of things happening on a machine or a weapon or whatever. And there's a really cool node I just want to talk really quick about that is unrelated to what I'm currently doing. But I just want to mention this for anyone who is interested in this rigging stuff. There's a node called the range mapper node. This is like the linear expression in After Effects expressions, where you say you've got you put your incoming number in here, and then you can say here's the input. That's the first number that's the first value you would put in a linear thing. Upper to lower, input upper, output lower, output upper. Those are all the same 5 values that have a linear expression in After Effects. So you can then remap your values to be whatever you want. But then you can control it by a spline. So you can then remap the values in all kinds of crazy ways to make very complex motions with just one movement of a slider. Anyway, it's crazy. It's insane. Look into it if you're at all interested in making a little animation rigs like this. Makes your life much, much, much easier. But anyway, That's rigging.
And that's
was
rigging.
an incredible breakdown.
Thank you. I don't need that new thing anymore. manage that user data and delete the new thing. So you can go do something else if you want, or you can watch me fuss with this for a while.
Why don't you fuss unless Hashi's got something?
I have some kind of interesting stuff over here.
All right, I'll go to me.
So let me go to I think that Michael and I just basically switched back and forth between each other. So I got you, baby.
That's excellent.
So I actually might have found a veggie tail that I was able to turn into some eyes and lips here. And I'm trying to think of the best way to nicely break up this U to have more definition. I'm trying subdivision surface, but I actually don't really know what a good
for subdivision surface to work how you want it to work, you need to put in control cuts. So you need to do a quick loop cut around all of the edges to control it. Or if you just want to add more detail without making any rounding at all, you could just use the remesh object.
The remesh, I forget about. And
because remesh object not only lets you decimate the model to have smaller, but you can bump up resolution higher.
I like that. So I'm going to put you into a remesh. That's just what I want right here.
Yeah, and then just crank the value higher.
Mesh density a little bit higher.
Value high.
But how'd you make the U in the first place, Hashi? I
actually just clicked right here on text spline. You can kind of right click you can just hold down and say 3D text, and that just bypasses having to create a text spline and throw.
All right. But so you can make it have more resolution just from that object without having to do the remesh part. Just as a heads up, you have tons of control over the mesh density of the text object.
So when we were here and I was just creating a U, which I can probably recreate my U again.
I mean, it's a tricky task, Hashi.
Okay. So now that I've cut up. Okay.
Make a bold or whatever you wanted.
What did I do? Was it? No, it was. I thought it was. Where did my bold go?
By the way, can I say thank you to the Cinema 4D team for making the text font switchy stuff way faster than it used to be? Like that used to take forever to pop up.
So much faster. Thank you. I don't remember what I just
try Noto Sans. It looks nice and black. Noto and up. Well, any of those nice boldy ones.
Let's try bold.
Yeah, that looks good.
All right. So when we're here,
so in the text object, So hit NB on your keyboard without moving your mouse, and that shows you tilt just a little bit. So that shows you the actual thing. So instead of intermediate points adaptive, change that to uniform down there.
Oh, great. Here.
And that will give you even stuff. Now your face is still an n-gon, so you want to change your caps to be something other than an n-gon.
So instead of
down at the bottom, you want it to not be n-gon, the very bottom.
Oh, very bottom. Wait.
See, there's a drop down. Yeah, there's a drop down right there. So you've got options for how you want the face to look. Delani is a pretty fun one. But you can also do quadrangles and other things like that. And you can change the size of it and everything.
I kind of like the way this is looking. Let me go back to my object and mess with the...
You probably want a touch of bevel, by the way. You never want a hard edge. So you probably want a touch of bevel on your cap.
Never.
Caps. Let's add...
Yeah, just a tiny bevel. Yeah. Just a tiny curve. Or round. Probably round would probably be more what you want.
There we go. Now it's
and
nice
you probably only need like 3 segments, but you can probably even go 1 if you really wanted to. Basically, you just need a tiny bit of something there to catch a highlight because nothing is a perfect corner.
All right, so I want to bevel the outside. Wait. I'm going to do bevel outside because I like it a little bit thicker. Like my U's a little thicker, and I want the object. I want the spacing to be I want the the subdivision that direction. Let's add 1 because I'm gonna start really warping this U around. I just want it to have some stuff.
Oh, by the way, then you definitely want to put it in a remesh object because that Delaunay mesh is gross. And the remesh object should give you some nice mesh flow.
Okay, so should I press C and bake this thing out?
Just toss it in a remesh object.
Really? Wow, look at this. I'm learning so much. What?
Look at that.
Beautiful thing.
And if you want to be really fun, I believe that is probably a symmetrical letter. So it takes symmetry on X, and it might even make it a little better. On the very bottom, there's symmetry.
What?
See? Look at that. Nice and clean.
Okay, I'm going to rewatch this part of the tutorial a bunch. This isn't even a tutorial. Just what happened here was astonishing. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how you can get yourself a little bit more. Yeah.
Let's see. So mesh density, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit to see if I can get any of the edges back. It doesn't really matter. I like.
Oh, then you just want to put a bevel deformer onto this to get your bevel back, by the way.
Oh, wait. So that's.
There's other ways to do it, but this is the fastest.
Wait, where is bevel?
Bevel is. Yeah, no, you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot. Bevel is. I'm trying to look at the very bottom.
Oh, there we go. And can I put that?
No, put them both under null. Alt G.
All right, so now they're both under a thing. Okay, bevel.
So you good.
And we'll use a round. Oops.
Yep. Don't touch that.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant to do.
That's the one you want.
I'll have to manually do a 0.1. That. There we go. Just a little bit of round. I like
just a tiny bit, tiny touch.
Okay,
there you go.
I am going to save this, then I'm going to increment and save, then I'm going to destroy this by pressing C. Current state to object. Let's get rid of that. Let's look at our remesh, which is now the letter U. It's going to call it that. We're going to put that here. We're going to put the lips and the eyes under this object U, and my face got a little bit too big there. Let's see. I'm not in object mode. Let's move the face.
Oh, we have 1 minute left.
Oh,
1 minute
geez.
left. Okay.
This is on you, audience.
Say again?
This is on you, audience. It's on them, not us. They didn't tell us.
Okay, so here's what I'm hoping to do. I don't know if this will work or not, but I was sort of thinking that if I had this U here and positioned it like it would be for the, oh gosh, let me reset its axis. Tools, Tools, axis, center. I keep on pinning this and then I don't know why I keep on losing it. There we go. All right, so let's put U right here. This is going to be fun all the times I say U. Scale this down, and here's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping that I can basically attach like my two hands as if I were the virtual Sesame Street puppeteer holding this letter U like this. Now, I'm not entirely positive how I want to do this. One of my thoughts was that I would just be able to rig it, like say bind right now and see what happened. Is that a terrible idea?
No.
Okay, so here's the skeleton system. So let's grab our thing and that, and we'll go to, this is going to work. I know it's going to work. Bind. This is exactly how things are supposed to work. And now we'll press play. Oh. Why bind? Okay. Maybe I need to convert this into keyframes first somehow. Which I don't remember how to do. Maybe I can, let me grab this object and say animate, add motion clip to it. And then I'll go to the tracks. open in timeline. And then I'll grab this motion clip and I'll say convert to keyframe animation. Where is that? Motion system, convert to keyframe animation. Isn't that what it's supposed to do? Did that give these keyframes? No, it didn't. Oh, why didn't it? Oh no, I was going over this earlier and trying to figure this out.
The minute, by the way, is somewhat up.
Somewhat up. What the heck? Okay. Why didn't this become a motion system that I can grab keyframes from? Or why didn't it allow me to bind this to something else? Do I need to unfold this all to bind it?
You have to select it all.
Unfold all. So if I do...
If you middle mouse click on the top part, it'll select everything, all children.
Oh, that's very nice.
All my children.
Then grab him and then say character bind. Is that what I should have done the first time around? Oh, wait. Oh, delete that one. I don't know what I'm doing, Michael.
I don't
Middle mouse select. Grab that too. Grab all this stuff. And then character bind. Do it. Do it. No, it just got the lips. How did it just get the lips? That's so weird.
The best way to make the lips stick to the U would be to use constraint tags, probably.
Oh, yeah?
You could or espresso. Either way, you could just say, "Hey, I want the position of this to follow that point on the mesh after it's deformed," and then it'll just happen. So you don't have to include the face in the rig.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so
that's one thing, but
I'm gonna take the face out of it for a second.
I was gonna say you might rather use a mesh deformer to say whatever the U's deformation does, then deforms the face equally to match. It's probably the better way to go.
Okay, I like that idea.
But
so
we are past time, Hashi.
We're past time. I know.
No.
I want you. I want
and
you.
Before
so
we
bad.
go, I want to say the Stream Catcher Society in the chat mentions that the link to the mug goes to the page with the password, so we need to get that fixed, Seth.
Oh, well, all right. Talk to Paul. But why don't you instead just go to VFX and Chill .store and you'll be able to get all the stuff that you want.
Let me make sure that link works now that you said that.
I'm so sad that I'm not binding this properly. Can you select 3 random things from your hierarchy? Or is that too confusing to it? Like if I select the hips. That's not going to do anything, right? It needs the whole skeleton, and then it needs the U, and then I need to go animate. Our character, bind. No. Oh, I'm so sad.
I like how none of us are quitting what we're doing.
Yeah, we're just ignoring the bell, basically. Those 3, and then select that, and then bind those together. I don't know what I'm doing. I could rig the U and then do a inverse thing. I really don't want to do that. I just wanted to be able to say bind. Maybe I was adding multiple bind properties to it and it was just mad. Okay. What was the frame where he's kind of lined up? No. You love this show, everybody. I know you do. I know you love
this show.
watching us do this part. Okay, come on. Anime. Character. I'm just going to keep on doing the same thing because eventually it'll work. That's how things work in CG. Yes! No! Oh, I got close-ish. And all right, what display do I want? Go ahead. Okay. I've failed us.
Me too.
Oh no. Okay.
It's failure week.
This is what I thought. I thought that I would have this U, and it would like be able to punch. So we didn't quite get there on this side.
Okay, so what you'd want to do is make a separate rig for the U, like its own separate joint system with like the root down at the bottom, and then just a few joint chains up the side, and then drive the positions of those up top. If you don't want to do your own motion capture, by this one, so just constrain the top joints to those joints. Then you'd have the motion, but like driven by a properly weighted.
This is pretty amazing.
Skeleton setup. Although this is quite entertaining to watch, and I think this is a lovely result.
It's not bad.
Do you have anything you could show now that we're at the end of the day?
Do I?
Let's see.
Oh, anybody? Yeah, Hashi, what do you got?
I found in the meantime an awesome by Julianne Nebel or Knebel little web page browser version of Ken, which is kind of cool. And
that is cool.
Part of me thinks that if I were to quickly open my gaming center and record the screen in this webpage, I could get a little video that was like this. Dun, 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 dun. Hiya, hiya.
Do Hadouken.
And do the thing. Hadouken is... Oh, they go right at the thing. Fight back. Reverse kick. And kneel. Oh, D's broken. I broke D. I modified the background to be blue instead of the background art. And now that I've done that, this nicely Windows exported MP4 will be super keyable. But just the other day, I broke my downloads folder, so it saves to like my app data temp folder somewhere. So I'm going to quickly find that. And see if I had eye contact on, it could look like I was still looking right at you all. But instead, I've got to look over here.
I've got nothing, but I do have to go. So I was working on, I was going to have Braz's face, crumble into bits, but I only just now got started on it, so it's nothing.
Hey, finding that clip and getting it even semi-workable is remarkable.
Remarkable! That's the word. That's definitely how I feel. So anyway.
Remarkable. I would remark on it in the street.
Michael, you got anything to look at?
Oh no, I started trying to fix the link and stuff. So I
Hashi, you got any last thing you want to show?
Okay. Super last thing. I have my screen cap. I'm going to quickly crop this composition, crop to region of interest, and go to my Sesame Street Fighter, make it a 3D layer with Primat. Auto-define key. Please.
That's great.
Oops.
Look at that.
There we go. So it's not all that I wish that it were, but it's all that it can be right now, which is delightful. So we've got this thing. Let's turn its quality switch off also. And scale it down, and then I'm going to press play on it, and I'm going to add some stupid position keyframes to this thing. There, and let's scroll back, and then it'll scroll forward. Okay, let's just play it. Let's play it. Here we are. And Yes.
Yeah.
Don't say I never did nothing for you.
I love that.
Solid results.
Super solid. Super solid. Well, guys,
We did all right.
we did something, and I'm proud of us, and I love us.
Thank you so much for hosting, Seth. This was delightful. And it's always a pleasure to see everyone out here, whether or not you agree with eye tracking technology or the like. We always like you showing up. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.